It was good, everybody. We're back. We took a long hiatus. We missed last week. We've had some pauses in between the cards, um, but we're back. So we're here to bring you guys another card breakdown. This time we have UFC Vegas 62. I believe it's 62 with Grasso and Araujo. Um, I think this is not the most exciting card, but there are some exciting fights. I think it's more exciting from a viewer standpoint than a betting standpoint, but there are some spots we both like. And with that, we can really just jump into this. First, I'll ask, how you doing, my man Jay?
Doing great, feels good. It was one card in 3 weeks, I think it was. And so we're back. Going to have this card to warm us up for the biggest banger of the year so far. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, like that last card, I'm happy we didn't have a show for it because I did awful. I got freaking hoed. So let's hope to bounce back here and get some positive flow going into UFC 280.
Yep, I'm with you, dog. I'm with you. So we'll jump right into this first fight. We have Mike Jackson against Pete Rodriguez. Mike Jackson's 37, Rodriguez 25. Tail of the tape. I would say tail of the tape favors Mike Jackson. He has the height advantage. He has a slight reach advantage. On the UFC's website, it says that Pete Rodriguez's reach is like 69 inches, not 73. So I'm not entirely sure what his reach advantage or what the reach is going to be. And this fight for me, I put a half unit bet on Mike Jackson at plus 500, simply because Pete Rodriguez should not be a minus. What is he on Bovada at the moment? Pete Rodriguez is a minus 750. He should not be a minus 750 favorite against anybody ever. So it just can't happen. And so, I don't know who's going to win this fight. I don't know if Mike Jackson wins. I don't know if Pete Rodriguez wins, but I do know that plus 500 is a juicy number to go after. And I also cashed the plus 800 ticket against Dean Barry last time. So I'm slightly going back to the well just to hope maybe, hey, cash a half unit bet on that plus 500. You never know. Yeah, start the crowd off exciting.
Yeah. I'm going to be on, I obviously, if you put a gun to my head and tell me who you think's going to win the fight, it's probably Pete Rodriguez. But based on what I've seen from him and like just his record and stats and where he trains at, like he trains out of like somewhere in Tucson, bro. Like that's like, can't imagine he's getting great looks out there. He's beaten everybody he's fought in less than 2 minutes, pretty much. He got absolutely pieced apart by Jack Della Maddalena. Mike Jackson also scrub, but he could take a shot. I think he has the opportunity to make this last a little longer and make it interesting, just based on the fact that Pete could probably gas himself out. Pete's very undersized for the division. Should probably be fighting at 155 or 145 if he could make it. But yeah, I actually got a little bit of a sprinkle on Mike Rodriguez decision or Mike Jackson decision. And yeah, I'm going to ride that plus 1,000. I might sprinkle a little bit on the midline or money line just in case, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I don't see how you bet Rodriguez in this fight. I just really don't. So
that's just like a parlay buster waiting to happen.
Yeah, and it's also, you just can't lay that price on a guy who's not very good.
Yeah,
is 4-1 professionally.
Facts.
With 4 fights all finishing in the first round. All right, we're going to move on to the second fight. We have Tatsuro Taira against CJ Vergara. This fight's going to be a fun one. It's in the featherweight division. Taira's 22, Vergara's 31. Taira's slightly taller, slightly longer. Nothing too crazy tail of the tape wise that really stands out besides the age. Experience wise, they're kind of even. Taira has a pretty long amateur career as well. Taira's like a minus 250 favorite on Bovada.
Yep.
Vergara is plus 195. So I personally like Tyra. I'll probably put a money line bet on Tyra. I think he's worth the minus 250. My only issue is in the last fight, he was winning so easily that it looked like he kind of was just like not paying attention and just kind of like getting just not focused. And I think Vergara is the kind of fighter where you have to be focused 24/7 because he does push forward nonstop. He's not a quitter. He's not going to stop. He's relentless. But I think Tyra's talented in all aspects, and if he gets on his back, I think it's a wrap. And we kind of saw that in the Candelario fight. The second round, he backpacked him the whole time. It could have been a 10-8 round, in my opinion. So if he does that to Vergara, I don't think Vergara has the defense on the ground to stop something like that. Not saying he's going to get submitted, but I think if he gets backpacked for a round, I mean, I think if you get backpacked for a round, you're pretty much going to lose the fight most of the time. So I'm going to go Tyra on this one. I think he's just more talented, and he's younger. He's 22.
Yeah.
He's going to – his last fight was 4 months ago. He's probably developed a decent amount since that last fight.
Yeah, for sure. I do like Tyra too. I think when I was first looking at this fight, I was like immediately kind of thinking Vergara just based on I think I had Pledson in the last fight, and it was a close fight, but I could see CJ earning the win there. It was definitely close, could go either way. Tyra though, I'm like the more that I was looking at it, and the more I was like just looking at that last fight too, Candelario, man, he's just so slick on the floor. He was better. He was outstriking him too. Like he was just dominating him everywhere. And Candelario isn't a scrub by any means. So yeah, I'm also on Tyra. His points, like by points or by decisions, plus 110. So obviously that's what the bookies favor. Best, most likely method of victory. I think a submission might not be bad because Vergara has lost by submission before. Tyra is very skilled in that department, so I could see that, especially if he backpacks him and just starts trying to take his neck. I don't see why
Tyra looks for it.
Yep,
he looks for it a lot. Like
he almost took Candelario out there a lot too.
Exactly, Candelario just I think he's like a purple belt in BJJ. He might be black belt. I remember the commentators were saying that Candelario was like a pretty high colored belt. So, yeah. But I don't know if Vergara has those same accolades in the BJJ realm.
Yeah, I don't think so. And I also don't think that, the only thing that I think that might be a problem with Tyra just because he's so young is the forward pressure of Vergara. He kind of just walks people down with like his boxing.
Yeah.
So that's really the only concern in this Tyra fight, but Tyra should be able to kind of do what he wants with him, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think the one thing that really stood out to me when I was watching the Tyra tape and then watching the Vergara tape is Vergara lunges forward a lot, and when Tyra fights guys that lunge forward, he goes for takedowns. Like he has really good timing on those takedowns, and he goes for takedowns and he instantly goes for the back. Like he's trying to get to the back ASAP because once he gets that body lock in, he's in business. But we're both on Tyra. We're moving on. We got Pierre Rodriguez, Sam Hughes. Hughes is 1 year older. Hughes is 2 inches taller, and she will have an 1.5 inch reach advantage. Hughes is coming off 2 pretty big wins. She was an underdog in both of these. And Pierre Rodriguez is coming off her first UFC win against Kay Hansen. So take what you will from that one. I personally don't understand the line. I think it should be flipped or just the other way around. I think Sam Hughes should be the favorite. I think Rodriguez should be the underdog. I do think Rodriguez has the better striking, but I think Sam Hughes has the better grappling. I think she probably has the better wrestling. And I think she's just shown us that she can do it, and she's proved me wrong 2 fights in a row. So I'm not going to sit here and try to bet against her. So I'm either going to bet her or just not bet this fight at all. Because she's really proved that she is a very competent fighter. So I'm going to go Sam Hughes in this one. I think she can figure out a way to win, rounds 2 and 3 like she has in her last 2 fights.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to be on Rodriguez's side. It's not a very strong conviction. They're both, relatively the same age. Rodriguez is probably going to be a little smaller. But with that being said, I think the striking's on Rodriguez. She's the undefeated fighter. I definitely think she's fought some decent competition on her way up. She was in LFA. She headlined a card in LFA. She beat Hansen, who's got decent wrestling in her own right. Do I think like Sam Hughes versus Kay Hansen would be an interesting fight, but probably Sam Hughes would win. So I do think it's a very close fight. I could see it probably being more close to even odds, to be honest, which is why I would say it's probably dollar pass from a betting perspective. But I think Pierre is going to probably be able to hold down the takedowns and win at least the first round and a half. And it's either going to be Sam Hughes does her classic come from behind type of stuff because she's got really good cardio and she's at a good camp. So
yeah,
I see what your point of view is. I don't know. Like you said, I'm not sure if I'll bet. I don't think I could lay money on the minus 200 or whatever it's at. Let me see where it's at. Right
she's
now.
minus 174.
Yeah, that's a little too high for me.
See, my thing is I think kind of what you just said, and then to add on top of that, Sam Hughes, like, I think she's only 30, so I think we could still see her getting better.
Yeah.
And so while she was before losing those round ones and then coming back and winning 2, and then, she finished Reed in round 3, and then she beat Estela Nunez by majority decision. I think that maybe she's just getting better and maybe she can win those early rounds as well. So
yeah, I mean, it's like your second or third fight with Saif Saud, I think, is the guy in
exactly
Fortis. So
exactly.
I don't understand how she's won 3 times in a row a big underdog.
And Hughes by points is plus 200. Like, if you want to take that shot, and I mean, I would personally sprinkle Hughes by TKO. She finished Elise Reed, and nobody thought that was going to happen, and that's plus 1,200.
Yeah,
Hughes by KO. So,
sheesh.
Yeah. We'll go to this next fight, though. We have Joe Anderson Brito against Lucas Alexander. Both 27. Alexander will be taller. We don't have a reach. Brito, 72-inch reach. I'm going to keep this real straightforward. Our last thing, Brito is minus 400. Lucas is plus 290. I won't be betting on this fight, but I'm going to be taking Brito. I think Brito has power. I think he has decent cardio. My only concern is if this guy is actually really pretty skilled, and I haven't watched any of his film. But if he's decently skilled and has some cardio, he might give Brito some problems because Brito has I would say 2.5 rounds of cardio, maybe 2 rounds of cardio, and that third round is troublesome. So maybe if Alexander can get this fight to round 3, potentially he can maybe get a finish or something like that. But Brito, if all things go as planned, Brito's going to knock him out in round 1 or 2, and it's going to be probably a quick finish. So what do you think about that one?
Yeah, I really don't know shit about Lucas Alexander. I'm not going to act like I do.
Yeah.
He looks like he's got good measurables for the division. He's good, about the same age, a little younger. Looks yoked. Hasn't really fought in major promotion or anything close to it. He fought in Anthony Pettis's pro league or pro fighting league or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is tough for me. I don't think I'm going to bet it. But like you said, Brito should probably finish him. His losses are 2 guys I've never heard of in Slam Arena New Fighting Events and Spartanos Fight MMA. Not really much I can go off of here, so I'm going to take Brito. I'm not going to bet it.
Okay. I like it. So we're going to move on. Next fight, Nick Maximov against Jacob Malkoon. This fight right here is truly just they're the same fighter. It's the same guy fighting against each other, and it's basically who's going to be able to implement their game plan on the other one. That's really what it's going to come down to. Maximov's 24. Malkoon's 27. Malkoon is going to be smaller by 3 inches, and he's going to have a 3-inch reach. Excuse me. Holy, that snuck up on me. Malkoon's going to have a 3-inch reach disadvantage. Personally, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like you have to bet Jacob Malkoon unless like Maximov gets to like minus like 115-ish. But like until then, like if you're getting Jacob Malkoon like plus 113, plus 120, like something like that, like I feel like you have to take that still just because it's the same fucking fighter. Like literally, like all they want to do is spam takedowns and lay on top of you for 15 minutes. Like that's what these guys want to do. And that's what they're going to probably try to do. They might strike, who knows? But I don't know. I feel like I got to take Malkoon. What do you think?
Yeah, man. This fight is going to be interesting to watch for sure. You know, when it comes down to here is, you know, I think the better wins come from Maximov. It's not really close, in my opinion. But, you know, losing to Petrosky the way he did, that was heartbreaking. And there's some fighters, you know, that you're betting on and they're like big favorites one night and you're like, this guy's going to be like my parlay builder, you know what I mean? And that guy completely shot the bed. I went to sleep to Andre Petrosky, who I thought he'd be able to, you know, tire out with his grappling, you know what I mean? Both should have terrible striking, so nobody should be knocked out. But, you know, this guy got finished in like 2 minutes. So it's hard for me to trust him anymore. I don't think I'm going to bet this fight. And if I do, it's probably Malkoon by 3-round decision plus 185. Maybe I'll parlay that. I don't know. I do have parlayed though is the over 1.5. And you'll see who that's parlayed with a little bit later. But like you said, if he gets down to minus 115, how could you not take him? You know what I mean? He should be the better fighter. He should have the better intangibles. He should be better skilled overall.
Maximov's the better striker for sure. So like there's that, but it's just like I just don't expect this to stay like on the feet. You know, I expect it to get on the ground. If it's on the ground, like who's better on the ground? I don't know. And
who's better getting reversals and like controlling top position?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why I agree. I'm just gonna take the over props.
Yeah,
and probably move on.
All right, good call. That over 1.5, I do like that. Next fight, we have Rafael Asunciao against Victor Henry. Victor Henry is a big favorite, minus 360 on Bovada. He is 35. Asunciao is 40. So this is a battle of the older guys. Henry's 5'7". He'll have a 1.5-inch reach advantage. I feel like you have to go Victor Henry in this fight. That's really all I gotta say. I think Asunciao is probably on his way. This is probably his last fight. He's lost against Ricky Simone, Cody Garbrandt, Sandhagen, and Marlon Moraes. I will say, those are all fucking good fighters. And so that's the only difference is he's losing against fucking studs. Victor Henry, I mean, he fought Barcelos, sorry. That's the only guy he's fought in the UFC. So, I mean, I think Henry's going to win, but I wouldn't be mad at anybody taking a shot at plus 270 Rafael Asunciao. I mean, if your last 4 losses are to these guys, it's not the end of the world, but you're just getting it's not a good look when you're getting knocked out by Ricky Simone. But by a right hook and an uppercut, like it's just not.
And I remember watching that. I was just like, really? Yeah, that's what finished you?
And I was just gonna say I remember watching that and thinking like, wow, like
this guy's got no chin.
So that's my only concern, but I don't remember how much power Henry has. And I don't remember it being a lot, so I don't know. I think Henry wins, but I don't hate anybody taking this shot at plus 270. Like that's a good juicy money line price. And
so I have him parlayed with that over 1.5 for the Malkoon. What's it called? Malkoon and Maximov fight. You said it pretty much straight up. Like it is Sunsal's on his last legs right now. He does not have a chin anymore. Ricky Simone isn't a power puncher, albeit he did rock short pretty well and then submitted him. But, still, everything that I've seen based on what I have in front of me tells me there's almost no way Victor Henry loses this unless he just gets laid preyed on for about 2 rounds and loses the decision. The guy hasn't lost an MMA fight since 2017, March 2017. He hasn't lost in 5 years outside of a guy in 2020 that he already beat. So I think that's pretty impressive. He fought in Ryzen. He's fought in a lot of these.
He's fought all over the world.
He's fought everywhere. He's absolutely styled on Raoni Barcelos, who proved that he hasn't taken a huge step back yet in his last fight against
Trevin Jones.
Yeah, and he fought more recently than Victor has. I mean, he fought more recently after that beatdown than Victor has. So Victor should be ready to go. I have him parlayed. I don't see how he loses. And yeah, since that's 40-yard bantamweights are normally a fade in my book.
Yeah, I feel you. Henry is 35, but 40 is older.
Yeah.
All right, we're moving on. First fight of the main card. We got Mana Martinez against Brandon Davis. Martinez is sitting at minus. What is he at? Mana Martinez is. Anyways, he's 26.
Minus 162.
Okay, there you go. He's minus 162. Brandon Davis is 32, and he is plus 130 for his odds. 5'10" both. Davis will have the longer reach. Davis, I'm pretty sure he was a featherweight in his last couple fights, like when he was in the UFC prior. Because he fought
Zabit's 145.
Yeah.
Giga's 145.
Okay, yeah.
Kung Ho Kong, I think, is 145. 135.
So, I don't know about a 32-year-old going down to bantamweight. I'm not entirely sure how that is going to be with his body and the cut and whatnot. Mana Martinez packs a lot of power. I do have a bet on Mana Martinez. I have a bet, a 1.5 unit bet to win 1 unit. I just think he has more power. I think this is probably going to be a 15-minute kickboxing match. I think Mana is just better all around. I think everything Davis does, Mana does a little bit better. And I think we potentially see a knockout. So I might even sprinkle KO.
I like it. I definitely think that Mana is the side. If I'm picking it straight up, I'm going to say Mana. One concern I do have is that Mana Martinez got submitted by Draco Rodriguez. That's a huge red flag to me.
Yeah.
And so I could see maybe Brandon Davis pulling up a submission if he's able to get it to the ground at some point. But outside of that, I just see Mana probably being able to light him up with shots. Like, it was painful to watch him lose to Dana Bakari or whatever. That was a beatdown. That was an absolute beatdown. Like, that guy, he's tough. Don't get me wrong. He's tough, but 14-9 record, 32 and a half years old, 5'10", 135 pounds. I just don't like that adding up. I'm going to take the youthful guy. And he's at Glory now, too. So he's at a good camp. So I'm going to take him probably by knockout. And knockout for him is plus 255. That's not bad.
That's not bad at all. I like that a lot. He has a lot of power. I mean, people forget that Ronnie Lawrence fight. He was getting dominated those first 2 rounds, and he wasn't too tired, and he still packed enough power to fucking rock Ronnie Lawrence 2 times in the 3rd round. So
he was scaring me.
Yeah, that was a scary moment when you had the Ronnie Lawrence bet. All right, we'll move on. We got a couple more fights to go. We are doing good on time. We're about 24 minutes, so we'll hit about 45 minutes or so. We got Alonzo Minifield and Misha Serkinov. I gotta go Minifield in this one. I'm not even gonna break it down. It's at light heavyweight. Misha's going up in weight. Last fight was at 185, or he's been fighting at 185, so he's going up in weight. Minifield's a physical specimen in so many ways. Serkinov has pretty much all of his finishes that he's been getting finished in have been in the first round. And you look at Alonzo Minifield, all of his wins when he's finishing people is generally in the first round. So I'm expecting this to be a first round KO finish for Minifield. Pretty straightforward for me.
Yeah. I don't know. All else I can add on to that. Dude can't take a punch. Dude packs a powerful punch. But there's also a path to victory for Serkinov. I can't deny that. Grappling, big edge. Alonzo Menifield's really only fought one grappler before, I think. And it was Paul Craig, and he knocked him out. So Askarov, I don't know if you remember, but after that, I don't know if you remember the post fight, he was out there, he was, I don't know, somebody
he was angry.
Something. Yeah, he was angry. I'm doing this for my family, and shit like that. Yeah. I think he's probably putting Misha to sleep and probably sending him back to Canada and out of the UFC.
100%. I agree. We'll move on because this fight's pretty much the same thing for me. Dushko's 3 years younger, Wright's 1 inch taller, 3 inches longer. I think Dusko probably knocks him out round 1, gets him out of there. A round 1 KO for Dusko. I think Dusko's not the greatest, but when you look at him fighting against lower level comp like Maki Pitolo, finish, Daquan Townsend, finish, Jordan Wright is definitely low level competition. He went, what did he go? He went 3 rounds of Gregory Rodriguez, and we see what Rodriguez just did to Chidi, what Rodriguez has been doing to all types of people, did to Jordan Wright recently. He's been whooping people's asses, so that's pretty impressive to go 3. Punahele Soriano, I mean, he hits like a truck. It is what it is. And then Chidi, I mean, that elbow, it was a perfectly placed elbow right on the temple. Can't take anything away from Chidi. I think anybody's getting knocked out if they take an elbow to the temple like that. But he got knocked out, so you have to say that his chin might be slightly suspect with 2 knockouts losses in his past 5 fights, and past 3 losses, 2 of them are knockouts. And Jordan Wright, he likes those early finishes, so there is that. But I think Dusko round 1 KO.
Yeah, I've been trying to convince myself to put some money on Jordan Wright, but I can't. I don't think I can, at least. What's the round 1 for him? I think it's like 450. That's not even really worth it to me. Especially after Dusko is going to have a clear advantage in the ground game.
Yeah.
Should be able to just take him down. And if Jordan Wright's going to you'd think he's overall probably a better striker, with his skills offensively than Barrial, but he absolutely got he just went for takedowns. I thought he'd be able to fucking strike with him. I don't know what he was doing there. Question his IQ, question his chin, question his record and who he's fought against. He's knocked out Jamie Pickett. That's the feather in his cap, which he's been submitted before, but I don't think he's really been finished like that. Mm-hmm. So right now, I can't lay money on Dusko Todorovic though, so I can't do it. I just can't. May the best scrub win.
Yeah, that's why I think just go with that. Honestly, the
under 1.5 is minus 220 or something like that, or minus 230.
Here, let me see. I'm gonna see one thing. Sorry for the boring content, everybody. So round 1, just winning round 1 is minus 135. So if you want to just not pick a side and just take minus 135, that's not a bad option. And then round 2 is plus 300. So you're not picking a side. You're not picking. You're not picking a fighter.
That's not bad.
You're just picking what round it ends in.
Should be a car crash, no doubt.
Exactly. So minus 135 is not that bad for if you think it's going to be a finish.
And Jordan Wright's older than him. That's crazy.
Considering under 1.5 is minus 230, so you're paying a whole $1 less essentially, or 95 cents less for 2.5 minutes less, which I think is worth it
for sure.
But we'll move. Askar Askarov, Brandon Royval. This is the fight I probably have the most to say. I will break down the tape first. 30-30 years old of age. Royval's 5'9", Askarov is 5'6". Royval will have a 3.5-inch reach advantage. Askarov is definitely a typical Russian. He likes to grapple. He can strike a little bit, but grappling is his game. Royval, I think you would specify him more as a striker. He can fight on the ground, but I think striking and, as you can see, Factory X Muay Thai, leg kicks, that's kind of his game. This fight is really interesting to me. I think Royval has shown that he can't really be controlled on the ground. He can get up, he can reverse, he can sweep, he can do things like that, and he can really make it difficult for grapplers. We've seen him fight grapplers. Machinel grappler, Bontarin grappler, Pantoja grappler, Moreno, he can grapple. Kai Kara-France, the only one who really couldn't grapple in the last 5 fights. And all these 5 fighters are absolute studs for the most part. And so when you look at that, I don't know. I feel like I want to bet Royval. Like, he's the underdog. My only thing is he fights so erratic and so wild that, like, you're just always nervous. I feel like you're always on edge when you watch him fight. It's always like, ooh, like what's happening? Ooh, like what's happening? And I just think Askarov doesn't have the greatest IQ, one. And I think he struggles with high pressure fighters. When I saw him fight Kai Kara-France last. Kai Kara-France was really pressuring him. He had no answer. He didn't shoot for takedowns. He didn't really have much striking answer. There wasn't much. And I think Royval is so high volume that he might just be too much for Askarov to handle. And when we're saying that we can get Brandon Royval at, what is he sitting at right now? Plus 210. You're telling me I can get Brandon Royval at plus 210 right now? Man, sign me up. Sign me the fuck up. Askarov is not that special. And don't get me wrong, I thought Askarov probably beat Kai Kara-France in that fight. Like, I'm not disputing that. But nah. Give me that plus 210.
I mean, it's hard for me to. I'm gonna pick Askarov, but like you said, I don't know if I could play this line. You know, he's the raw dog for a reason. He's chaotic. And you know, I do remember Kai Kara-France fight. I did have money on Kai Kara-France by finish or by knockout, but you know, he completely dominated. Like the second, he definitely won the 3rd round. Like he just started taking away every takedown. Couldn't be taken down. He was winning the striking battle. It was a close fight. But it was impressive for me to see Kai Kara-France do that. That's why I was so sad when I saw him lose to Moreno. But yeah, I think Askar is probably the rightful favorite. Do I think the line's a little wide? Yes. The only question I have about Royval is that he could be like his shoulder might pop out. You know what I mean? Or like he's got those durability issues. I think I heard him say that he had to take pretty decent amount of time off after his last fight just because he had a bunch of injuries that have kind of piled up. So, I mean, yeah, before that, he was fighting every 3 or 4 months. He's taking about 7 months or 6 months off or something like that.
His fighting style is super duper erratic. So it makes for like a very like dicey situation whenever he's fighting. 100%, I agree.
And he's beaten Kai Kara-France. So, I mean, that's what makes it super interesting.
Yeah.
I am going to say, you know what? I'm flipping. I'm going with Royval. I'm looking at his 2 losses. I think the 2 best guys in the whole division, outside of maybe Figgy, obviously. Moreno and Pantoja is the guys he's lost to. I mean, he's been finished by both of them. Man, I don't really remember him losing to Moreno like that, but
I remember it was literally like a little.
Oh, that was a shoulder. That was a
shoulder.
shoulder.
It was a shoulder.
Okay, yeah.
So it wasn't even like a grounder. It was just a shoulder.
Yeah.
And then
if his shoulder didn't pop out,
Pantoja had choked his ass out. But Pantoja's a fucking savage. I think Pantoja's the best fighter in this.
Dark House, dark horse right there. I love Alexandria Pantoja. All right, yeah.
Perfect. I like it.
Both on the same side.
All right, Jonathan Martinez, Cub Swanson. Cub Swanson's 38. Martinez is 28. Swanson is dropping down actually at 38 years old, down to bantamweight, which we talked about. Who was it? Brandon Davis earlier, dropping down at older. This is even more concerning if you ask me. 5'8", both of them, and Swanson will have a 0.5 inch reach advantage. I'm gonna pick Jonathan Martinez to win. I don't know if I'll come around and bet him. He's minus 213. I bet him his last fight against Vince Morales at he was 220. I bet on him then, and that was a pretty easy bet. I watched the tape, seeing the leg kicks were there. Martinez loves leg kicks, and exactly what happened. My concern with this fight and why I don't want to lay the same price with Cub Swanson is because Cub Swanson has a lot of power. And Martinez has been rocked before. He does have the loss to Davey Grant, but he got slept. Against Perez, he got rocked one time. And I think it was Thomas Almeida. He also got hurt one time. So he can be hurt in those fights. And Cub Swanson definitely can hurt him, in my opinion. So that's like my big concern. But I think Martinez is kind of in that prime part. So I'm also kind of on the side of betting on him. I kind of like a parlay of Jonathan Martinez, Brandon Royval, Alonzo Minifield, and Tyra in like that four-legger. And just kind of putting those four together, because you can get pretty good odds. I mean, you can get plus 845 for that four-legger. And then if you wanted to add Dusko, if you thought Dusko was going to win, that's 1290 for a five-legger. And that's all minus 200 favorites or higher. And then Brandon Royval is a plus 210. But that's beside the point. I think John Martinez probably wins this fight, and that's the side that I'm going with.
Yeah, so I'm going to pick Cub Swanson. Obviously, not having a bet laid down until I see the weigh-ins. We also know Jonathan Martinez has struggled making 135 before. They're literally the same height and reach pretty much. I think Cub Swanson should have faster hands. I think Martinez should have better kicks. I think Martinez gets lackadaisical with his defense sometimes. He's open to being hit hard. I could definitely see him being knocked out. But yeah, it really comes down to how they look in the scales for me. I want to bet Cub Swanson, but then, I saw today, like, his interview had David Archetta or something like that, some other bantamweight fighter answering questions for him, and he just had sunglasses on and he didn't look great.
Yeah, no, he's going through it right now for sure.
Yeah, he's learning what a real cut is. So I want to take Cub, and I want to take him by maybe a little sprinkle on knockout. I got to see the weigh-ins. Then I saw a pretty interesting stat, and I've been kind of trying to fact check it. I haven't seen anything that goes against it yet, but from what I've seen is that when Cub Swanson fights a southpaw, he normally finishes them.
Interesting.
Yeah, he normally styles on them. So I'm interested to see that play out. And so if I'm going to get plus like super good money on a knockout bet, which would be plus 500 for Cub Swanson, I don't see how I can't not take that. You know what I mean? I don't think Jonathan Martinez is a world beater. I think he's a talented guy. I think he has some issues with defense and pressure and good boxing and people getting up in his grill. So I'm going to pick Cub Swanson, but if he looks god-awful, he misses weight or something, I'm just going to stay away.
Yeah, I'm with you. I feel that. Move on. Main event. Last fight of the night, y'all. We got Alexa Grasso and Vivane Araujo. So Grasso's 29, Araujo's 35. Araujo will be 1 inch shorter, and she'll have a 2-inch reach advantage. This fight, I don't really know. I mean, I think Grasso's the more talented fighter. I think if this fight is standing up for 25 minutes, Grasso should be able to piece her up for 25 minutes. I think the way Vivi wins this fight is she has to make it ugly. I think she has to really kind of takedowns and just clinch work and she has to go to the body and kicks, and she has to like have a really well-rounded, just dirty game. And I don't know if she has that in her. So I'm probably gonna go with Grasso here, but I don't. Again, this is another one of those fights where like I like the favorite, but I'm not mad at anybody taking a shot at the dog because the fight is going to be close. Like I think this is going to be a close 5-round fight, similar to what we just saw at Dern and Jan.
Yeah.
And with Dern and Jan, I mean Jan won that split decision. Who's to say we can't see another one of those where the plus 180 plus 200 fighter wins a split decision? Because in reality, sure, one fighter might be more talented, but it's a fight. And at the end of the day, it's 50-50 and anything can happen. And if the other girl is just as talented or the other man is just as talented or close to it, why not take that shot? So
yep.
I expect Grasso to win, but I might get a bet on Vivi just because I like a lot of dogs this weekend. I think there's a lot of close matchups. Like I do think that Cub and Martinez fight is close. Like the Royval and Askarov, like that fight is close to me.
Yeah, totally.
Like Maximov Malkoun, that's another close one. Sam Hughes and Rodriguez, that's another close one. So it's like those are close fights where the dogs, like I don't think Misha and Minifield is that close. Like I think Misha's just washed and it's gonna get steamrolled. Same with Jordan Wright. I think Jordan Wright's pretty washed and it's gonna get steamrolled. So it's like Rafael Sancia, I think he's probably going to get steamrolled. So it's like, but he's a nice piece plus 270. So he's like a real juicy piece. So I don't mind people taking that shot.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, I'm fucking on a tangent. Go.
No, you're good. I mean, I'm going to take Grasso. I think that she's probably the more like, I think her cardio is better. It's really what it comes down to. Araujo's older too. She's 35, almost 36. Grasso's been showing pretty steady improvement. She has lost to Carla Esparza, Tatiana Suarez, and Felice Herrig. Felice Herrig was in 2017. She's been in the UFC for a long ass time. I'm gonna take her. I don't think, like you said, I think it's probably a little bit of a close fight. I think where she separates herself is in round 4 and 5. And she just finished Joanne Wood. Joanne Wood doesn't look great in a long time. Macy Barber, that's a pretty solid win. That's actually a really solid win. So, I'm going to take her, but I could see her losing the first round or two because Vivane Araujo is Araujo is very
fast
aggressive,
starter.
Very aggressive, fast starter. Good wrestling. So, yeah. And the only people she's really lost to are Jessica I and Caitlin Kuchkagian. I don't like the Jessica I, but that was, a while ago, so we can maybe give her a pass on that, and it was probably a close fight. But the Chukagian, she beats everybody that isn't named Jessica Andrade or Valentina Shevchenko. So yeah, I'm gonna lean Grasso. Probably have a parlay end with her, but in terms of who I pick, yeah, it's gonna be Grasso. Should be a close fight though.
All right. Well, so we got through all the card. We gave some bets that we have already made. We gave some strong leans on a couple fights, some indifferent leans on others. But all in all, I think that got some decent information out there, got some good ideas, and hopefully we can go out there and make a little money this weekend and build that bankroll for next week's card. And yeah, so any last words from you, my brother?
Nope, should be a violent card from what I could see based on right now.
Yeah, a lot of finishes in my opinion.
It should be a fun card. Kind of wish we could see what was it, the Magny versus D-Rod fight. That would have made the card just slightly better, but can't complain. Hope to cash some money, and I think there's some clear spots where we can make money. Best of luck to everyone, and let's get ready for 280.
Yes, sir. Let's get it. See y'all next week. Have a good one. Best of luck.
Very nice.